Welcome to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. G4TV was hit with some major layoffs this past week, and which is really sad. I mean, nobody should be happy when somebody loses their job. I mean, that's just not a good thing. And I know because it happened to me once. So I definitely have sympathy and empathy for those who have lost their jobs. And even more sadly is that this is all happening within less than a year of G4TV even coming back, because the network had been gone for about a decade. There's probably a reason that really contributed to this situation, which we will get into. At least somewhere between 20 to 30 staff members were laid off at G4TV this past week, according to three sources familiar with the business. The video game talk show network from the 2000s was resurrected last fall on streaming platforms like Twitch, as well as cable TV, but now faces major upheaval less than a year later. I truly cannot imagine the company continuing to produce our slate of content without the people we lost today, said one employee. The timing and severity of the cuts took staff by surprise, with talent showing up on set that same day ready to film, only to have programming canceled as HR reps met individually with employees. Now, if that ever happens with your employer, if HR is meeting individually with different employees, that's really not a good sign of anything good happening. While it's not clear what the extent of the layoffs will be, one source said those affected were told they would receive anywhere from between 16 weeks and 6 months of severance based on their tenure with Comcast, G4's parent company. Well, at least they will get something, which will hopefully be enough to help them while they look for another job. And here was a tweet that was released by G4TV on the 14th. Due to unforeseen circumstances, all G4 streams today have been canceled, but we will return with all of our regularly scheduled content tomorrow. Well, definitely, this really took everyone by surprise. This is pretty significant for the whole network to essentially not produce anything that day while all of the people were being laid off. That was significant. Three sources told Kotaku that G4's finances have been in bad shape for some time, and managers were tasked and looking for cost savings wherever possible. Things apparently came to a head during an all-hands meeting a couple of months ago when then G4 President Russell Aarons discussed the troubles the business was facing and proposed unrealistic revenue goals for the year ahead. Staff felt blindsided, one source said, due to a lack of clear goals for measuring success against up to that point. Aarons left shortly after and was replaced by Comcast Spectator executive Joe Marsh, who sources say was only interested in finding ways to slash the budget. The suddenness and severity of the layoffs were unexpected, however, and call into questions what the future of the new G4 will be. Well, if they're laying off such a significant part of their staff, then the future of G4TV is definitely, highly questionable at this point. Originally launched in 2002 by Comcast, G4 was the only outlet at the time for gaming news, reviews, and discussions on TV. Its main shows were X-Play, hosted by Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, and Attack of the Show, hosted by Olivia Munn and Kevin Pereira. Those shows were eventually canceled in 2012, and the network closed down a few years later as gaming video content migrated online. The network then relaunched in November 2021 with a mix of old and new talent, as well as plans to stream daily content on Twitch and other platforms, in addition to being hosted on cable. The relaunch was reportedly the brainchild of Tucker Roberts, the son of Comcast CEO Brian Roberts. According to one source, however, Tucker stepped away from G4 operations back in March. Yeah, he left, in other words, 2 months after the big Frosk rant that many people are aware of. So this is a really sad situation for the people who got laid off. And no matter what anyone thinks of G4TV, hopefully people will be compassionate for those who've lost their jobs, because that is never a pleasant situation. Unfortunately, there was one particular G4TV employee who did not have too much compassion for fellow employees who were losing their jobs. And who could that one employee be? Well, it happens to be Frosk herself. G4 host Frosk posts tone-deaf meme celebrating her continued employment after network hit with massive layoffs. I'm not at all surprised that Frosk isn't showing any genuine sympathy or compassion. She has never come across as being particularly friendly or likable, at least not to me. In a stunning display of tone deafness, particularly from someone whose own actions ostensibly played a significant role in getting here, G4 host Indiana Frosk Black responded to the network's recently announced sweeping staff cuts by sharing a meme celebrating the fact that she herself did not face the chopping block. Well, isn't that nice of her to do that without showing any compassion for anyone else? Let's play some games. Yo, I survived. Yes. Where is she providing any kind of compassion, saying, I'm so sorry that my fellow coworkers lost their jobs today? Did she say anything like that? No. Has she since actually said anything like that? Well, not that I have seen, because I looked at some of her other tweets. There hasn't been anything posted by her saying that she was, in fact, at all bothered by the fact that, a number of her fellow coworkers are no longer employed at G4TV. She was just too giddy over the fact that she was still there. And in all likelihood, she is probably one of the main reasons why those people have lost their jobs. Why? Well, let's take a look at the rant that she had back in January of this year, because her rant and what she said probably cost the network a large number of viewers. And if you don't have viewers, you're not going to have ad revenue. So yes, Frosk's actions did indeed directly adversely impact the network and its ability to make money. Guess what? G4TV actually deleted this video either several days or 2 weeks ago, and it's really not hard to see why that occurred.
Sexism in gaming. In joining G4,
this is not where I thought we were going, but I'm here.
I had no idea.
I'm listening. Yeah.
In joining G4, I was ecstatic to be part of something that I grew up watching as a child. But every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us, I can see you. Without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
And she's very likely right, because I don't think that many people actually do find her all that attractive, and certainly not after her rant.
It's somehow...
Talk to him, Frost!
And her co-hosts then essentially egged her on to get even worse, which didn't help the situation.
It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment. It's not a compliment.
It's weird.
Don't you just love it when people are getting all self-righteous about themselves?
It's dehumanizing and it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
And guess what? It's her behavior that makes her unattractive.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
And that's just obvious sexism. You don't need to explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist. Just go ahead and check out Thorne's latest meltdown on Twitter for some spark notes. Now, here at XPlay,
our reviews are written and produced by a team of people. There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden. So we divide and conquer. And when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer. That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading that review. And that's not to say that Gerard, TBH, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do. But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us.
That's why we're X-play and not Adam play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the very...
And Adam Sessler? What the hell happened to him? What a douche.
Variables. Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed.
In other words, she's aware that people don't like her, but instead of considering why people don't like her, she's just going to blame everybody else.
And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does.
So Frosk, who admits that her male co-hosts are facing similar criticisms to her, has decided that people don't like her specifically is a type of sexism. Well, no, that's not sexism.
Both things can be true, that there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam, and that all receive special flame just for being a woman.
People not liking her has nothing to do with her being a woman. It's because she's self-righteous and egocentric.
And I wish I could turn the camera around so you could see the incredible team that make X-Play. Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on. Former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa.
When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why, even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam, but you have no problem with he's part of it. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space.
There's an old saying, to have friends, you first have to be a friend. She clearly doesn't get that.
So maybe for 2022, we'd be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
And guess what? Frosk got her wish. Because not only did thousands of people stop watching G4TV after viewing her rant, several thousand more people began to unsubscribe from the channel altogether. And what did that mean as far as revenue went? G4TV began to lose money immediately because fewer people watching the videos means less revenue, plain and simple. So she effectively threw a wrench into G4TV's ability to come back from the dead, because this was only a few months into their reemergence. So yeah, this was really stupid. And the management at G4TV, instead of doing the right thing by getting rid of her, they kept her and they backed her up. So they basically brought this on themselves. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.